Exercise. Embrace the wound instead of punish the wound. We all need to move. Hello everybody. We are here with our very dear friend, Danielle Gardiner. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Thanks for coming. I'm good. What did you think when I suggested you come along?
I just thought, hell yeah, I manifested this.
What did you really? What do you mean? Let's come and have a good conversation.
I just would love to come and talk to you. Yeah, and here I am. So this is awesome.
I really enjoy this. I really, really enjoy this. I never thought I would, but I just enjoy that. I just get so lost in conversation, I quite forget that we're recording, if that makes sense. So, Danielle, let's tell all of the listeners, what is your background? We're here to talk about exercise. Now, we just had a little chat about what kind of title we're going to play with, and then you just started to launch into this really fascinating conversation. I was like, let's pause, hang on, I want to actually record this, I don't want to miss this. So tell me, first of all, we're talking about exercise. Obviously my background's psychology, your background's exercise, and a whole lot more, and bringing this together is pretty exciting.
Yes.
So tell me, what's your background with regard to this physical world?
Yeah, well, I was a tennis player in America, so I played a bit of, I played collegiate tennis, and then I played a little bit.
What does collegiate mean? It sounds like some sort of position.
So I played Division I tennis in America for the colleges, like San Luis Obispo, and then I went on and played a summer in Europe. And then I started teaching tennis. I did get my degree in liberal arts with a background in child development. So I was going psychology, but
there you go.
I couldn't manage that with all the training and stuff. So I just tried to take a little shortcut. But I sort of have merged the two. I guess it would be called kind of life coaching. But from the tennis courts in America, I am now in Australia, and I have taken the tennis into more of a fitness arena, and I run my own gym here in Australia.
There you go. How long have you been in Australia?
13 years.
Are you Australian?
I'm a permanent resident. I'm not Australian, no.
Isn't that a fun question? I think that's really interesting. Whole other conversation.
I have 3 Australian children, if that counts for anything.
It counts a lot. You get major bonus points there.
Well, thank you. I like bonus points. Can you keep those coming throughout the podcast? Thank you.
We'll keep going. Okay, so how long have you had your gym?
I'm going on 4 years. I'm on my 4th year of business. And for probably the last 10 years, I've been in the fitness game here in Australia.
Sure. So you're kind of learning the industry, getting into the industry, and then you said, let's get my own business going.
That's kind of a shortcut to what I said. I had a few more words to it as per usual, but yes.
Absolutely. So, okay, now I love that we came together without much of a clue for myself of the direction that we're talking about.
I never have a clue. Yes, that's good.
I love that spontaneity. I really enjoy it. Keeps things fresh. So oh my gosh, when we just came to this room, how many minutes ago, you started to talk about different frameworks for people approaching exercise. Now, that just says psychology to me. Yes. So you really dabble in the psychology of exercise.
Well, I think any personal trainer or anyone in the fitness game will sort of have to dub as what you do professionally if they're any good at what they do. I'm not saying that people aren't doing a great job of that, but I think that the fitness industry can do an even better job of it. And I think that what we are doing at Fierce Fitness is bringing the real psychology, the root of the wound, and we're transforming the game of fitness with psychology. Yeah.
That is very exciting. So when you say the wound, can you break that down? Can you explain what that means?
Yes. Well, if most people get to a place when they end up on your couch or in front of you, or they come to my door, it's a place where they are not happy. They're not comfortable in their own skin. And they've gotten to a place where whether they are not happy with their fitness, they're not happy with their physical appearance, they're not happy mentally where they are, and then they end up in front of us.
Yeah.
So most of the time we don't get to those sort of rock bottom places or those places of vulnerability with great decisions. Normally, what I have found, it is some sort of a trauma that we've suffered that we're trying to outrun or drink away or eat away or hide from. And then all of that hiding, all of that frantic, if you're thinking of yourself just treading water in the middle of the ocean, you're not really getting anywhere. You're doing a lot and you're very tired and it's cumbersome and not much fun.
Can I break that down? So we're going to bring our worlds together now, which is pretty cool. So from what I see, obviously, we have a lot of people who reach for food as a coping mechanism. Mm-hmm. They're not in a good spot. They are distressed. They are in a negative headspace. And so they reach for alcohol. Yes, there's one option. But food and alcohol and the whole range as a way of disappearing. Yeah. As a way of saying, this is what I'm going to reach for, instead of being present with what my current concern is. And so we've got that whole relationship with food. And I'm glad I accidentally brought up alcohol, because that's in there as well. And it is a coping mechanism, and it's a very dysfunctional relationship, rather than seeing food as fuel. And I think of food as something that needs to be very sexy. I really love the word sexy. I really do. If food's not sexy, I don't eat it. I really don't. There's not much sexy food through McDonald's in my books.
No, there's not.
No. So, but I would argue that a lot of people don't see it that way. And it is really where they reach for to disappear. And so that's one side that I see. The other side that I see is a lack of self-care, a lack of self-love. And there isn't a sense of, okay, I'm really cherishing my body, so I'm going to look after
valuing yourself as having a self. And I think this might be a good time to talk about, as many mums and women, we tend to have a lot of feelings around that word of self, like it's almost guilty. So many mums out there will be thinking like, oh, I can't even sit down and eat for myself, so we just eat the scraps, or you just eat the leftovers, or, as a gym owner, I have so many moms that come and they feel guilty about taking that 60 minutes or 45 minutes out of their day,
taking the time
for themselves.
Self-care.
And there's that word again. It's like there's some kind of a stigma around that word. If I say I'm doing this for myself, it's like, oh, you're selfish. Who do you think you are? And
when it's fundamental self-care.
Yeah, we have to stop that kind of a thinking around, what I do when I go to the gym and train. I look to my 3 children and I think, I'm doing this for you. Like, I'm valuing myself so that I could be a better version of myself for you, and hopefully then for me also.
But let's break that down.
Yeah.
First of all, each individual is important.
That's right.
Full stop. Second of all, you can't be quality for your kids unless you're quality within yourself. Third of all, you're role modeling self-care.
That's right. And I think that number 2 that you said it just like, it's like, oh, the sky is blue. But so many people, like, go back and say that second one.
Yeah, so we look after ourselves so that we're quality for our children.
Yeah, but you said that like that was just rolled off your tongue. But people do not, like, every day I have people feeling guilty about taking a little bit of money to value their health, taking a little bit of time to value their health. And there's even backlash from family members and, the social ideal of what a mom is. We have to just keep fighting against that and saying that you can be strong and take 1 hour of your day to value yourself, so that you can be strong for everybody else.
Absolutely, which I think is really interesting from a psych perspective. We would, and this has got some major value judgment around it, but we would call that martyrdom.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
there's
a
a
bit
lot
harsh.
of that.
Yeah, so which is really,
I really hate martyrdom. I really do.
I know, but the logic is, if I love my children, I'll put them first.
Yeah.
And it's far more complex than that.
And then they wear it like a badge on their chest or their arm, and they're like, oh, look at how tired I am. Oh, I haven't even eaten. Oh, look at everything I've done this week. It's like, where is the value on yourself? Like, you need to value yourself.
First point, you're important. Second point, you can't be quality for your family if you're not a fully fueled dynamo of a machine. And that's
right.
just not good enough at all on any level. Absolutely. I do think it's a very simplistic view of loving my children is putting them first. And now don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. If there was, if I was lost in space and there was one spaceship to put my children in or me, I'd put them in
children,
it. Absolutely. But that's not the situation here.
No.
But that's how people live. Have you ever heard of the burnt chop phenomenon?
No.
I'll just have the last burnt chop.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just like the scraps.
I'll have the scraps. I'll have the dregs. Now, give and take that happens. But on the whole, I'm going to value myself. I'm going to look after myself because I'm important and I need to be quality for my children. And the role modelling is fascinating as well. Here you are saying to your children, hey, look after yourself, advocate for yourself.
Yeah,
care for yourself.
That's strange. And I think, like, if I'm here in your office looking at the couch that your clients sit across from you, so many times they're here based on issues that they're saying, oh, I can't leave this relationship because of XYZ, or I'm doing this for, my children. And then if you turn that around and said, would you choose what you're going through right now for your children? Like if I'm looking at me, would these people that ended up at my doorstep, at my gym, eating badly, not valuing themselves, not moving, is that what they would want for their children? No. Their answer would be 100% no. They're putting them in the spaceship and sending them back to Earth, right?
Yeah.
But they're choosing and modeling some crazy, unattainable thing that they don't even want their children to do.
But can I throw another layer on this one? I use a bit of an analogy.
I like
with
analogies.
People. Yeah, I'm a very symbolic thinker. So, okay, if you've got one car, my first car was called Brutus. It was a Mazda.
I feel like you can't say like Brutus. I feel like you need to say, my first car was like Brutus.
Well, you just did that well.
Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah, Brutus. Now, Brutus had more bog in it. Brutus. It's a good name, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, it had more, I think the word was bog. White putty. It had more white putty in it than it did metal because all my friends had smashed into it. Yeah, and I bought it for $50 and I sold it for $500. I've always been a quiet little businesswoman. But point is, it was a crappy car that got me from A to B. It was fantastic. Now, if you were to have a Brutus in your life, right, versus if you were to have a gorgeous red little sporty machine, which one would you look after? Which one would you care for? Which one would you, just make sure that you keep it, protected and you clean it and you care for it and you service it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be the red little sexy little MG or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I want to take that to another level, and I would want to say, even if you have Brutus, I would want, if that's all you have, if Brutus is all you have, I would still want to value Brutus the same. And I've had a Brutus and I've just leveled up and I still valued it the same. Do you know? And I think that's a very interesting point.
But I guess I'm being truly symbolic with this.
Okay, you can be symbolic, but whatever we're working with, like wherever you are in your fitness journey, you can value that just the same. And it's those little steps that is going to transform. Like with my methodology, you're going to transform Brutus into that magnificent Porsche.
I love this. We're having two conversations, and they're both very important.
You're only sticking with Brutus, and I'm gonna like love Brutus so hard that he's gonna transform into that
sexy little red MG.
Yeah,
yeah. My father had a red MG, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I know. I was very, very, very fortunate. I didn't like it at the time though, because I was in the back seat and I used to always vomit.
Oh.
But
that's not so sexy.
let's just come back to my point here. That
I see your point.
If people view themselves in a negative way,
as a piece of crap,
they're not going to care for it.
They're not going to care for themselves.
Whereas if they have that self-worth,
and a lot of women do that, yes.
Then they're going to really invest. They're going to think about the fuel in the tank. They're going to have a lot of self-love. They're going to move their body because they know it's going to help their mood.
Okay, so I'm back on your page. So what we need to do is get self-worth. People to start thinking of themselves. Where are we going? The Porsche or the
little red MG?
MG.
Now my point is if
they need to value themselves as that MG.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm, by the way, not a car person at all.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a nice car, and it's nice to have a nice body, and it doesn't define you as a person, but it is more like what I focus on is the mental side of what training does and what valuing yourself does in a way of self-love rather than punishment.
You must absolutely, let's come back to that in a sec. So you must see people walk through the door who don't have that self-value, and you're wanting them to really invest and look after themselves. And that's a very hard thing when they don't have that initial self-value. But ironically, by then investing in themselves, they start to really connect with themselves and feel better within who they are and, be more advocating, content within who they are.
Yes, and this is a very interesting conversation because if you're thinking about a physical, like you're talking about somebody walking in as a Brutus.
I'm actually not at all talking about physical. I'm talking about how you relate.
But when they do come in, it could go both ways. Like you can walk in as that Porsche or you can walk in as a Brutus. And whether you're that Porsche, that beautiful, tuned, great on the eye, runs like a champ, that does not define you like your worth as a human being. And in the fitness industry, that is something that is a little bit hard to fight against because it is sort of based on your physical appearance. Like I just did a video today on TikTok, and it was somebody saying like, "Oh my gosh, I won't go to that gym because she's not even in that great of shape." And then somebody else's opinion was, well, I'm not going to go to that gym because she thinks she's all that because she looks so good. And it's like, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like some people think you're so up yourself that you're not more than your physical body. But what we advocate and what we promote is whether you're the most brilliant physique ever, that doesn't have any value on who you are as a person. And the same thing goes for somebody who might be obese or overweight or in a very low point in their life with their health and fitness. We're going to change the inside first. It's sort of like, have you ever heard about that alley cat analogy where the old cat is in the alley and this young cat has just paid all this money to go to this philosophy school? And he's in the alley, this young kitten, he's like chasing his tail round and round and round and round. And the old cat comes up and he's never had anything in his life. He's always eating scraps. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing, mate?" And he says, "Oh, I'm just chasing my tail." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he said, "Oh, I just went to this philosophy school and they said that the happiness is in your tail." And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Like, I totally agree with that, but I go about it a different way." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, all I have to do is catch my tail and then I'm going to be happy, right? I'm going to be content and fulfilled." And the old cat says, "Well, I do believe that happiness is in your tail, but when I focus on the things that are right for me, it tends to follow behind me." So that's the philosophy with my gym, is with the health and fitness, you don't... Let me just say, because you said you like analogies.
I do.
Let me say this another way. I like to use this example because I told you I was a tennis player. So I didn't start playing tennis with the goal to look like Steffi Graf or Anna Kournikova, right?
Yeah.
Those people are amazing, and they look physically amazing on the eye. I remember a whole bunch of people, even Brooke Shields, like had Steffi Graf on her fridge and everything. What I did was I followed my joy. So I loved playing tennis. Like I innately loved the game of tennis.
Yes.
Started playing tennis because I loved it.
Yeah.
What happened was I started to look like a tennis player. I didn't go out to play tennis to look like a tennis player. I played tennis because I loved tennis, and then as my tail followed behind me, I began to look like a tennis player. So what I do at Fierce is, and what I want to continue advocating everywhere I go, is to say, we want to make fitness fun, not a punishment.
Yeah.
And when you enjoy what you're doing, the physical will follow behind. Like it's not the main goal. And I think people have that, am I allowed to say ass backwards?
You go for it.
Okay, so they have that ass backwards. You know, you're picking up the tennis racket to look like Steffi Graf. I think that's kind of old now. Who would we say now?
I don't know.
Barty.
Yeah.
Or whoever the top, whoever your favorite amazing looking tennis player is. But follow the joy.
Find the joy, really engage in the passion and the pleasure and the enjoyment.
So I know a whole bunch of people say make fitness fun, but you're not going out there on your 10K trudge. And I just said this to so many people today when we were doing a workout. I said,
You're right.
Watch what's happening between your ears. Because if you're doing it out of a place of, gosh, I have to do this today because I drank that bottle of wine, or I have to do this today because I ate that freaking pizza and I hate myself for this,
So there's the punishment word you brought up earlier.
Yeah, it's not going to work. You're never going to be able to out-train that hatred.
So can you put some words around that so people approach it with a sense of obligation or as punishment because they've got all this negative self-talk going on, and it's not about that at all?
Well, it shouldn't be about that. No, even if, I'm not... Life is hard. A workout at the gym is going to be challenging. Like, if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. So the way that you mentally approach a workout is the way you're going to approach anything in life, is the way I think of it. Like the way I approach a tennis game all those years on the tennis court is the way I have, like when you said we're gonna play today, I was like, oh cool, can I win? Like I always,
that fascinating?
I always want to win. I always want to see, like, is this a game? Like, okay, and I have to tone that competitive nature. No, it's serious. Like I really have to tone it down.
You're very competitive. Do you know? And you just said a moment ago, life is hard. I don't even agree with that. Wow, we could have another conversation on that one.
I love how you don't agree with me. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to hold my opinion and say life is hard, and that we are going to train our brains and train our conscious stream of consciousness to approach it differently, to be able to do hard things.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, okay. To the average person out there, who is reaching for things that they can reach for. So at the moment, I've John, about 10 weeks ago, had a hysterectomy. Yeah, about that. And then I had bronchitis. And then I had laryngitis. And now I'm good. But I can't go outside.
But still, you don't think life's hard?
No.
Those things were fun?
Well, I was perfectly fine. I wrote a book. I did. I wrote a fiction book during the hysterectomy. It was great. And
hysterectomies are easy.
Major abdominal surgery
is easy.
Apparently I was a freak. But anyway.
She's not going to admit it, right? She's not going to say a hysterectomy is hard.
Well, I was...
Bronchitis, easy? Walk through the park?
No, just annoying.
Annoying.
And, yeah.
It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit challenging. I say hard, you say challenging.
No.
It's not challenging. Bronchitis is not challenging.
It's annoying.
What about cancer? Is cancer hard?
Cancer's extremely difficult.
Is death hard?
Yeah, but it doesn't define all of our day-to-day life, does it?
So death is hard.
Death can be hard.
Cancer?
Cancer can be hard.
But life's not hard.
Well, that's not everyday life, is it? It's very much to do with her framework of everyday life. But
I'm going to get her.
okay, so my point is...
Because I'm going to win.
Yeah, competitive. I'm not.
I know. That's not fun, though, because if you don't engage, I don't take it as a win.
I'm not. I'm just a bit goofy, really. So my point is, what I can do right now is yoga. Mm-hmm. That is really what I can do, because if I go outside, it's cold outside, I start coughing, it's not good, my laryngitis comes back. And so that is something I can do. And I love talking to people, and we talk about exercise, and I'm saying, what can you reach for? What can you do, you know? And it might be going for a walk when they come home from work.
I love that.
Yeah, it might be that they can jump on the bike and go for a ride with their kids.
Love that.
Yeah. And some people, you know, I love that going for a run, and I'm like, hey, 1K is a bonus, 2, fantastic, 3, you know, rock and roll, whatever. And, you know, their capacity to get to a gym, that's a bonus too. But my point is...
whatever you can do, you just need to do what you can do. Start where you can, where you are, and do that.
And reach out for what you enjoy, what works for you.
There's that joy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you don't enjoy it, there's a few things you can do. Like, I don't think you should be like a gym slut. You can, you know, once you've gone to like 5 gyms, I think you need to have a look in the mirror. Like, if you've tried yoga and Zumba and all these different things, like, there's no one answer.
They talk about doctor shopping, so there's gym shopping.
Yeah.
Right.
Or gym slutting. John, am I allowed to say that? I've said ass already, so now she's like, we won't have her back on. No, but, you know, there comes a point in time where you need to look into that mirror and say, you know, I've had this thought that it's me, it's not them, you know, and I think you would think that a lot in your field, but I've had this thought today where somebody comes and they convince me, or they come and say, listen, I need to quit the gym, and they sort of had a whole dissertation and convincing me about why they need to quit the gym. Okay, that's great.
I didn't know it was such a confessional.
Well, it is, because what they're trying to do is convince themselves, and then they take that dissertation X, Y, Z, all over town, and they're trying to convince everyone else to buy into those stories that are not serving them, those old stories. And, you know, oh, well, I'm not athletic. Oh, I don't enjoy exercise. Or, oh, I can't do this because of my back. Or I can't do this because of my knee. It's like, oh, my doctor told me I can't squat. Well, okay, how do you eat your dinner standing up? How do you get off the toilet? That right there, you've just done 2 squats, right? You get out of bed, unless there's some sort of a thing that lifts you up. From sitting on your bed to standing up, you've just done a squat. So talking about starting where you are and doing what you can, and then just incrementally, slowly adding to that.
Yeah.
You know, oh, my doctor said I could never press weight over my head. Okay, well, you just put a plate from the counter onto the cupboard.
Yeah, you've got all that functional movement, yeah.
That is an overhead press, and you just might have lifted a plate, but we can do a plate 5 times, and then we can do a plate 10 times, and then we can move to a soup can. But the thing is, people don't like that dedication when they say I've tried every diet, I've tried every workout. Well, you've tried it for like a week, and then you gave up on it. Like, really? Have you really tried every diet, every workout? I don't think so. Like, how long have you tried it, and how much did you invest in it?
But you're not really about them. They might come in with certain physical goals, and I'm guessing you're more about their relationship with their body, their relationship with moving their body. Yeah, the
first
broader...
and foremost, that's the foundation to work on the negative self-talk. And I sort of do. I'm like I'm like a ninja psychologist. I'm like an aerial attack, right? They don't even know that I'm doing psychology and trying to. Well, maybe they do now because I'm all into it. But yeah, I just want to sort of slither in there and little droplets of changing that self-talk and transforming it into a more, or even just, I was going to say a more positive framework, but even just becoming aware. Like, you're at a gas station and people say, oh, I can't control my thoughts, or I'm not in charge of what comes into my head. It's like, no, you're not. But you can become the observer of your thoughts. So if I'm working out and I'm thinking, gosh, I can't believe I let myself go in my diet. I've eaten this, I've eaten that. I've not done this, I've not done that. I can just realize that I'm at the petrol station and a black negative thought has just driven up to fill up. And instead of getting in that car like a negative vortex sucking me in and taking me for the whole day for a ride, I can now, this is what I've asked them to do, stop and say, that is a negative black car. I'm not getting in that car. I'm going to let that car fill up, and I'm going to watch him leave the petrol station.
Drive away.
Yes. And then there might be a few more black cars. You know, I might think, oh, wow, have a look at yourself. Look at you've gained so much weight. You used to be this, you used to be that. You can't even run 5K now, right? And you start going off, ooh, get out of that black car, get back into something else like maybe a red car or yellow car. A yellow car would be happy. Let's get into a yellow car. Let's think about how amazing we are and how grateful we are that we are alive and that we're able to have this opportunity to go for a walk.
Do you know what? I would really love to wrap up on a related topic, and I'd love your thoughts on it. Yeah?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, society says that if you are trim, taut, and terrific, you're going to feel confident within yourself.
Yes.
In my experience, that is quite inaccurate. The amount of people I have that are trim, taut, and terrific who are profoundly insecure.
Yeah, and that's what I was
ridiculous.
saying. It goes both ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the more they start to kind of think, okay, I need to be this sort of cookie cutter version, the more they think, yeah, but maybe I'm not there, maybe I'm not there, maybe I'm not there. And there's a lot of insecurity. But I also have these gorgeous, gorgeous men and women, but I must admit I am talking about women, who are kind of, they're owning their space. They are they walk with this sensuality to them. They are just voluptuous and owning their curves, and they are so profoundly confident and sensual, actually, is a very good way to put it. They're just owning their space, and I love comparing these two worlds, and I love
me too, yeah.
Yeah, and I love how it just smashes society in the face and says, no, sorry, it isn't a case of if you have a body type A, then that equals confidence. It's your self-love. It is your relationship with yourself. It is embracing your body. It is saying, hey, my body is getting me from A to B, and I can celebrate on the way, and I don't need to jump through hoops to be a version for somebody else. And I find, confidence within the individual so spectacularly attractive. Yes. And, that's what I'm drawn to. And I just would love, for that to become a contagious realization.
And if you're seeing a lot of people like that, I think that's a very big rarity.
Do you?
I do. And I have seen it. And I'm thinking of one person who was, the doctor said, morbidly obese. So she's now lost 60 kgs. And I'm proud of her physical transformation, but beyond that, I was saying heads up, because there is this syndrome, and it's maybe not known in your world, but it's known in my world, and this is the red flags, okay? When you go from very much overweight to extremely fit, and you become I'm not sure what the word is, but it's not a nice person, because you think now that you're somebody and you're so fit, and now you've become better than other people. So what I told her was, I will be watching out for those red flags, and I will be calling you on it, because she was one of these people who was such a strong, confident, amazing, beautiful person. Yes, she had a few extra kgs. She lost the kgs, and I said, do not let those kgs
remain grounded.
Do not let that transform you into some sort of I don't know what we're allowed to say, idiot, or in Australia would say a wanker, but that there is a syndrome where you go from extremely overweight to extremely fit, and then you sort of let it go to your head. And that's not fun. And those people, we need to watch out for that. It goes both ways, because your weight does not define you, exactly what you said. So if we could, whatever body you're in, wherever you, if you're at the top, the peak of your fitness game, or you're in sort of a valley, a dark valley, and you're not very happy with yourself, that's okay. Wherever you are, you can start there, and we can just do baby steps, getting you to wherever you want to be.
And my framework is about moving for the sake, just moving, so that you connect with your body, you have some time out, you can release that cortisol, which is that stress neurochemical, and you have the happy neurochemicals kicking in, the serotonin for a movement. So that's where my mindset is, and you're on that mindset as well.
100%.
Absolutely.
And even when, I put up my hand in my community so many times, said I can be in bed feeling like throwing the biggest pity party for myself, like tears streaming down my face. I could just stay there.
I'm currently frowning at you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I could be in a very big pity party for myself, like feeling very bad for myself.
About
life myself.
Right.
And then I think, okay, 9:15, I've got to be at the class. I've got to go to my gym class. Or you get yourself up and you do what you just said. You move.
Yeah.
You don't stay there. You don't stay stagnant. You just got to get up and move through the trauma, move through to the depression.
And the body is made to move.
That is 100% right. And at the end of it, you're like, whoa, like I cannot believe 40 minutes before this, I was sitting here crying in bed. And you completely turn it around and transform your entire day. And then you do it again the next day. And sometimes you might fail, but you just try again the next day. Turn up for yourself, try again.
I am going to wrap it up on that point, because that's a beautiful point.
Great.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
A lot of fun, and we're going to probably shut this down and keep talking. But okay, let me. Do you want to do this, or shall I? I can do this. Okay, everyone, if you want to find me on the website KirstenHunterAuthor.com, Facebook, Kirsten Hunter Author, and Instagram, Kirsten Hunter Author, Twitter, Kirsten Hunter AU, the YouTube channel, Psych in Your Car, which
sounds very popular.
And this is our podcast, Signpost for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter. And I've been told, please subscribe, because that's apparently a thing I'm learning.
Yeah, let's subscribe. Everyone subscribe.
There you
go. Hit and like, share.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you, Don.
See you guys.
Bye.